Hi everybody, today I'm going to be, as you can guess, I'm going to be reviewing my top 10 list of favourite episodes of Doctor Who from the Russell T Davies era. So yes, I'm super excited. There's going to be lots of love here. I know like the first list I did, there was a lot of, oh, this episode is terrible, and I probably got a lot of hate for it, and I'm really sorry if I offended you. So these are my list of favourites. Some of yours will be in this, most likely. So a lot of love here. Also, there will be spoilers if you haven't seen Doctor Who or the Russell T Davies era before. And obviously, this is my opinion, so please don't be offended if I do not share the same opinion as yours. Okay, it's not a fact. You can have your opinions as well. Just to put that in there. Okay, let's go. Number 10. This is one of my favourite two-parters and I love it. It is The Age of Cybermen and Rise of Steel. So obviously in the Dalek episode in season 1, you see Cybermen like on the exhibit, and I obviously had heard of it because my dad watches Classic Who, but this was the first one in New Who where you actually saw them in action. And obviously it was the departure of Mickey, nearly said Ricky because he died in it as well. But yeah, I think I was so upset when Mickey left. A lot more upset than I thought I would be, actually. Maybe because of Rose's reaction to it. But when I think back on Rose's relationship with Mickey, I think she was, honestly, ever since the Doctor came to their lives anyway, she was a terrible girlfriend. Honestly, she just dumped him. And he always comes running after her, and she's always, I don't know. I don't like the way she treated him. I understand the way she treated him. She's a very immature 19-year-old, but it's not cool. And the fact is, I'm really glad he realised. By that point, he was like, do you know what? I'm going to save the world. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to live my life here. I'm going to look after my nan. You don't need me. And he deserves that. He deserves, to be treated better than the way she's treated him. And I think it was only in that moment that she realised how badly she'd been treating him, which is really sad, that the only way you know is when he leaves her behind. I think maybe he was her backup plan to her. Sorry, I digress then, but I think it's just interesting thinking about it like that. Obviously you will all have your own opinions on the Rose and Mickey thing, but that's how I feel about it. Number 9. Oh, this is an episode that's gone a lot better. This is, it's a two-parter that's gotten a lot better. From rewatching, but also from a character we now know a lot better, and that's Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead. So, when I first saw River, I was a bit like, who is this woman who claims to know the Doctor so well? What is this? What is she talking about? I think that's what a lot of people felt about River. We were just like, who are you? What are you doing here? And I did feel a bit at the end, they're all alive, and I was just really? I think it would have been a lot better if majority of them had died, honestly. In my opinion, maybe I'm just really cynical, just want all the characters to die. I just think it would have been a lot more, hard-hitting like that. But I love it now a lot more, because now when I see, what happened with River, I'm just like, River. So when I rewatch it, and that bit though, when the Doctor sees Donna, and oh my god, I did find it a bit annoying when they kept saying, "Hey, who turned on the lights?" It got a bit repetitive, but it was scary. It was a really good episode. That little girl who plays Cal, brilliant actress, brilliant. So yeah, I love it. Number 8. Okay, this is the last special on my list. It is an amazing episode. I talked about how, I felt they were very draggy. They were dragging out Ten's era a lot, even though I love Ten. But this episode is exceptional, and that is The Waters of Mars. I love it so much. It's so terrifying. It's like watching a horror movie, honestly. I'm not a fan of really scary stuff, but this I find absolutely terrifying. I remember once there was a news article about, water had been found on Mars, and everyone was like, it's scary. I love this episode so much. The one bit that gets me is, I think it's one of the, I can't remember the name, I think she's German or European anyway, is the bit where she get touched by water and she's watching like the video of her, like her two daughters singing to her, and she is crying and I'm a mess. Honestly, that is the bit of the episode that really like stands out for me, and I can still remember it, and it's just awful. Yeah, I love it. So it's such a good episode, and you see the Doctor, what he becomes, and it's amazing. Oh wow, such a good episode. Number 7. Oh, I love this two-parter. It's so good. I know some people don't like it that much. They find the Doctor and Rose a bit over the top, but I love it, mainly because I am hardcore Ten and Rose shipper. So, yeah, but this is The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. I love it. It's super scary. I remembered, when I was a teenager and I had friends at school and we'd all be talking about this two-part, it was so good. It scared the hell out of me. And it was just brilliant. Like, every bit of it was just brilliant. And all the characters were written really well. And I liked all of them. I was, like, rooting for all of them. So I just love it. It's brilliant. The only thing that gets me is that, obviously, like I mentioned before, the Ood don't get saved. But I love it so much. Number 6. Now, this is an episode I genuinely thought to myself, I was going to rate this at, like, number 2. But it's at number 6. And that's Blink. I love it. I'm not sure. I think there's just so many good episodes of Russell T Davies, and I know this is one written by Moffat. Probably the best ever episode written by Moffat. It's amazing. Sally Sparrow is amazing, and it's just normally standard. You know how Love and Monsters are standalone episodes without the Doctor being the main and the companion being the main isn't good, but this is so good and it's so terrifying. So I went to the Doctor Who experience earlier this year, and there's a part of it where you go into the Weeping Angels graveyard, and to be fair, I was like screaming because I'm terrified of the Weeping Angels, less terrified as I used to be, due to just Moffat kind of overusing them a little bit, but I do love this episode so much. I actually had a 21st birthday, for my 21st birthday, I had a Doctor Who themed birthday, and we, around like midnight, me and my friends, we watched Blink, and it was brilliant. It was so good. Yeah, it was just so good, and we're all like in Doctor Who cosplay, and I know that makes me sound like a total nerd, but whatever, I'm wearing a Game of Thrones jumper, so, and I have a TARDIS, so, yeah, I love it. Number 5. Let me say this correctly, there's 3 parts. There's Utopia, Sound of the Drums, and Last of the Time Lords. I love, love, love it. It's amazing. I know some people feel a bit, it's not that good, but I love it so much. It's done so well. The whole thing with the Master, Utopia really gets to me, that episode, the most. I think I love that one the most out of the 3. But the 3 of them together is really good, and how Martha had a hard year, like, if you think about it. And the bit when she says, when she gets out and she says, you know what, I am good. And she is good. She's better than good, she's brilliant, and she deserved a hell of a lot better than the way the Doctor treated her, and it's just done so well. And Jackson, of course, and the bit when Jack reveals about he says the face of Bo, they called me. I think my face was the same as Dr. Martha's, and then I think Ross T. Davies said at the time, oh no, it's not a definite thing, but I think everyone's taken it in the fandom to be definite, like, yes, he is the face of Bo, and it's just, it blows your mind. Incredible episode, and the bit who the Toclophane are, it scares you. It's such a good episode. Such a good 3 parts. It was a great finale. Oh, and number 4 now. We're getting close to number 1. This one breaks my heart. This 2-parter breaks my heart. We're getting to like the finale kind of episodes now because I love them so much. This is Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. It is hands down the best finale, 2-part finales I've ever seen in my life. It's so incredibly well done. It's so heartbreaking with Rose and Ten having to leave. At the time, I don't know if they mentioned it in the news, because now obviously they say in the news, oh yeah, this companion's leaving. I had no idea that Rose was leaving. I had no idea that Billie Piper was leaving. So like, for instance, with Clara, Jenna Coleman said that she was leaving with the Ponds, Karen and Arthur said they were leaving, but with Rose, I had no idea. I had no idea it was going to be a last episode. I mean, obviously she does say, "This is the day I died," and I was praying she wasn't going to die, and it was so upsetting. Like, it really was heartbreaking having this, and then you get Donna at the end turn up, and you're like, what is going on? It's a bit mental, but I love it so much. It's so good. Top 3. Okay, number 3, this two-parter, so the rest of them are all going to be two-parters, just so you know. This two-parter I thought was going to be first, because I've always said the first part of this two-parter is my favourite episode of all time. This one is The Empty Child and the Doctor Dancers, and I love it. It scares the hell out of me. That joke in, the Santaranti part is when Dad goes, "Are you my mummy?" It's just brilliant. But, I mean, it scares me so much. And I'm glad, Moffat has never... Okay, I know I said Moffat's best one was Blink, but actually this was his best two-parter, so... And then, of course, it introduces Jack. Jack, one of the best companions ever. I love Jack. And it's just incredible. There's never been a two-parter like this one. Saying that, this is only number 3 of my two-parters, so it's clearly not the best two-parter ever, but I mean, I love it so much. And if I ever found someone who disagreed that this two-part is so well written, I would find it hard to, have a proper conversation and be like, "Excuse me, I don't understand how you don't find this scary," because it is so. It's terrifying. It's this child in a gas mask going, "Are you my mummy?" which doesn't sound scary until you watch it, and you're like, "Holy crap, this is really terrifying." So I love it. It's brilliant. Number 2. Okay, I know I said I had two-parters left, but this one really technically isn't a two-parter because it's a 3-parter. It is Turn Left, The Stolen Earth, Journey's End. Wow, what a 3-parter. Now, I know some people may not agree with me. I understand. I know it's a bit, it was a bit ridiculous, the whole 2 doctors thing. I get that. The whole Donna thing, a really miserable doctor at the end. I honestly feel it would have been better if the doctor had regenerated at the end of Journey's End, to be honest. But, yeah, it's, I think it's brilliant. Turn Left especially is one of my favourite episodes ever. It's just, do you know what, I will actually tell myself that every time I hear the phrase "turn left," I'm like, oh my god. So it's so good, the way it goes back and everything. It is such an interesting, definitely an interesting sci-fi perspective. And obviously Rose comes back, who is my girl. I love Rose. And it's just so funny having Rose and Donna interact. And Donna not thinking she's important, but Donna, you are so important, you really are. And it's really sad that she doesn't know that she is. And, I think, despite how many episodes, not even the 50th anniversary has anything on, the opening credits of the cast in it. It's crazy. You've got Torchwood, unfortunately not Tosh and Owen, but you've got Torchwood, you've got Sarah Jane Smith with Luke, Mr. Smith, and K9, obviously. You got... everybody. You've got Jack, you've got Mickey, you've got Jackie. It's crazy. The cast for it is crazy, and it's just so good. And it's a fangirl's dream, and I know it's basically our dream. They just put the whole cast together. It makes you so happy. So I love it. Yeah. Okay, we are at number 1. My favourite, Russell T Davies episode. 2-part episode of all times, but yeah, this is the one that's made number 1. Not all of you will agree. I know most of you will probably agree this is a very good 2-part. I don't know how many of you will agree this should be number 1, but for me it is number 1 in my heart, so please do not be offended. It is Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways. I've not made a secret that season 1 is my favourite season of all time. Chris Eccleston is my doctor. 9 is my doctor as well as 10, but and I love 11 a lot as well, but I think it's great. The whole storyline, the whole Bad Wolf thing they did throughout, dropping it, is so good. And when you rewatch it, I've rewatched this finale a billion times, and it's amazing. And it's also, I have talked about how I think this is a Moffat thing, how he likes to keep everybody alive. And I kind of found it a bit, I mean, it's nice to keep everybody alive, it's good, but I mean, it doesn't hit home as much. So basically, in this two-parter, majority of the people just died, and I think that made it really good, made it really tragic. I loved Linda. Linda was one of my favourite characters, and it was so sad that she died, but it was like, how I love Science of Library and the Forest of the Dead, but I mean, they all though they're dead, they're kind of alive, they're saved. Whereas this one, it's not like that. It's not like a cheap trick. The only one Rose was able to bring back was Jack, and the rest stayed dead. Although I think there is a bit of now thinking about the Doomsday episode and this one, how Rose is suddenly able to remember that she killed the Dalek Emperor. I don't know, but I love this one. It's so good, and it, how when 10 regenerated, the way he died, I didn't really like it. It seemed very cheap, it's a cheap cop out. This one, I think it made sense. Every part of it, every detail of it, just fitted perfectly together, and that is why this is my number one favourite episode of all time. Two-parter favourite episode of all time of the Russell T Davies era. Thank you so much for, watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it, despite all the disagreements you probably have with my list. Hopefully you found some enjoyment in it, and if you want me to react to anything else, or do a challenge, or do another review, maybe Moffat era, maybe Tortured, I don't know, just anything, you're more than welcome to make suggestions, and I may well do so. And I'll make the TARDIS noise as I leave.